So can we start with the permission of all?
Yes, sir.
So KG sir, is it okay to start? Okay, yeah, you are there. Thank you. So, Akshay, just can you put everyone on mute
Yeah.
and start the video?
Yes.
स्कूल की लाइन में लगे एक आंख बंद किए इधर उधर ताकते, इसका मतलब शायद मालूम ही नहीं था। कॉलेज की भीड़ में दोस्तों के साथ ठाके लगाते भी कामयाबी पानी तो थी, मगर हम होंगे कामयाब ये सोचने की न जरूरत थी न मौका। माँ की नसीहतें और पिता के सहारे के बीच हम होंगे कामयाब के मायने समझना थोड़ा मुश्किल था। हम होंगे कामयाब का असली मतलब तो तब समझ आया जब जिंदगी ने हाथ छुड़ाकर कहा, तुम्हारी लड़ाई सिर्फ तुम्हारी, लड़ो गिरो उठो, फिर लड़ो फिर गिरो फिर उठो अगर उठ सको। लड़ने ने, गिरने ने और गिरकर उठने ने हिम्मत तो जगाई ही, साथ ही जगाया यकीन, और इस यकीन को हकीकत बनाने में आपके साथ है जीवतम। हमारे बर्तन लाना है, लक्ष्य तो हमें पाना है, होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। आइए मिलकर भारत को कामयाब बनाते हैं।
सरकार की सहायता रोजगार के साथ जोड़ करके नई इकाइयों के लिए सरकार अब योजना बनाएगी। देश में रोजगार के अवसर बढ़े, उस पर हम बल देना चाहते हैं।
होंगे कामयाब एक दिन।
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. I think that is the theme which we are there. And welcome to everyone for the third edition of Reimagining Campus Placement webinar. This is third in the series. We started 2 weeks back with our first webinar, and as we promised, we are going to do this webinar every week, and this one is the third webinar in the series. We always have very esteemed panelists. Today also we have very experienced and very esteemed panelists with us. We have with us from the representation from the Ministry of Labour, National Institute of Career Services, Mr. Ashok Gupta, we have Seema Sharma, we have Rajiv, we have esteemed panelists. See, the objective of this webinar series is to help students find work opportunities. You know, livelihood is the focus. All the students who are graduating in their third year of their college and who are graduating now, whose exams are yet to get over, this webinar is for them to understand, and in this crisis, in this pandemic area, you know, where everyone is finding very difficult to find work opportunities, what are the work opportunities which are available for the students and what all they can do to help tap into those opportunities. So this is the basically focus of this webinar. We are also looking into category, you know, first year, second year, third year students also who are there, who are still studying. What are the work opportunities for them also, whether it is internship, apprenticeship, freelancing, part-time. We are going to talk about all those opportunities. We are going to talk about what are the skilling thing required. Today we have with us the CEO of TASA Asia, Mr. Rajiv, with us. He is going to talk about what are the opportunities for, you know, students to go abroad and do. So I think what we have with us is, you know, whole set of opportunities we are going to discuss today. which are available for students. Jivitam, I'll give you a brief about Jivitam also. Jivitam is a tech-enabled livelihood platform. Our objective is to help people find livelihood. We have around 1.5 crore work seekers on our platform, and we work with the top 100 corporates in India. Okay, and we have been working with them for the last 3 years, and hundreds and thousands of people have found work from our platform. We cater to the entry-level workers, we cater to the students, we cater to all segments, all sectors, which is financial services, construction, retail. You name the sectors, and we have all the sectors. We are working across 500 pin codes. Our technology platform basically works in 21 Indian languages. So whether you are in Chennai or you are in Bangalore, you want to speak in Marathi, Gujarati, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam, whatever is your language, we work in your language and we help you find work in the area of your choice. So Jivitam is making a lot of innovation. One of the innovation which we are doing is basically doing this digital campus placements. Mr. Ashok Kumar is there with us from NICS. I remember, when this lockdown happened, we have been doing before the lockdown job fairs with National Career Services. Okay, and after the lockdown, the job fairs were not allowed. So we were the first ones, along with National Career Services, to launch digital job fairs. So we are doing a lot of innovation. Okay, one of the innovation is digital job fairs. Now, one of the innovation we are also going for digital campus placements. So welcome to all, and I will like to have this series continue and more students joining in. Today, this webinar is going live on Zoom. We are going live on audio conference. We are going live on Facebook. And I'm sure in the coming times, hundreds and thousands of students will join these webinars and benefit. So thank you again for joining us, and welcome. I will now leave it for Mr. Sanjeev Ahuja, who is the editor for Asian Community News Network, one of the leading media platforms in the country today. I'm happy to have him on as our partner to this series. And over to you, Sanjeev sir, for the introduction of the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manish, for giving me this opportunity to introduce the august panel of distinguished speakers today. My name is Sanjeev Ahuja. I am the editor of Asian Community News Network. Let me begin with Mr. M.S. Ashok Kumar. He is the Joint Director, Employment, National Institute of Career Services, a venture of Ministry of Labor and Employment in Noida. Mr. Kumar started his career as a mathematics lecturer at Hyderabad. He has 26 years of experience with the Government of India, during which he has worked with Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation for 6 years, Home Affairs for 2 years, and Labor and Employment since 2002. For the last 8 years, he has been with this ministry, and now the Joint Director with NICS. He has attended many international training programs organized by International Labour Organization, ILO. We had the honor of having Dr. Rajiv B. Sharma, who is the group managing director and CEO of TASA Global Group. That includes ventures like TASA Asia, TASA Study Abroad, WorkFromHome.com, Career Path, and TASA Varsity. He is an engineer, MBA, and doctorate also. As an education entrepreneur, a seasoned leader, and a technocrat, Dr. Sharma comes with extensive 27 years of global business experience in education, training, and finance. As a professional, he worked at CXO levels at Unicorn Financial, Motilal Oswal Financial, Adecco India, and Aptech Worldwide. He also set up the first private sector university, Aptech University, with footprints in 16 countries. His life purpose is to impact 5 million youth by his ventures, and firmly believes in purity of purpose. We also have the honor of having Dr. Seema Sharma with us today on the panel. She is the Executive Director, Center for Women Policy Research and founder of Advocate.world. Dr. Sharma is a postgraduate in environmental studies and doctorate in industrial waste management. She has 16 years of work experience across sectors like academia, industry, policy, and community. She believes that social, ecological, and technological activities should go hand in hand to attain sustainability and resilience in society. To achieve what she believes in, she has developed a framework called 3I: Inform, Inspire, and Implement. She was invited by BBC World News for Financial Inclusion Strategies research paper discussion in 2019, and again a panelist for job discussions in India the same year. Last year, Dr. Seema was also nominated by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to participate in United Nations convocation to combat desertification. Dr. Seema has received many awards like One MP, One Idea Award, World Ecology Environment and Development Award, Green Earth Award, and Biocentra Prize in Brazil. Thank you so much. We truly welcome them all to the webinar today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Manish.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev sir. I will now leave the panel to Mr. KG, okay, to host this webinar and moderate this webinar. KG sir, over to you. I'm sure Mr. KG sir has to be unmuted.
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Done. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you.
And thanks to the esteemed panelists for coming for this webinar and Sanjeev introducing them. And our aim at the end of about 45 minutes more is that when we walk out after 45 minutes, our participants must go back with the inspiration that Har student hoga Atmanirbhar is no longer a slogan, but a reality. And we have amazing panelists who are going to speak to us on this subject. So over to you, Mr. Ashok Kumar, over to you, and please enlighten us of what the government of India is doing for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mohan, sir. Thank you, Manish, sir, and Sanjeev, sir. Thanks for inviting me to this session, and also for giving me an opportunity to share my views about the employment services being provided by Government of India. Yeah. So, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to mention about the details how this Government of India is providing various employment-related services to the job seekers, unemployed youth, and students. Right. So most young people in developing countries such as India cannot afford to remain unemployed for long. Right. But at the same time, they are also not in a position to find decent jobs in the formal economy. That is the main issue. And as per the National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship document 2015 of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, it was estimated that around 4.69% of our youth population is totally out of total workforce. They are occasionally trained or skilled. Only 4.69% of youth between 15 to 24 years age group are occasionally trained. And at the same time, it is also mentioned that every year around 26.14 million people are joining to the workforce. So only limited skilled people are there, and huge population is joining to the workforce every year. Really, these are the challenges. So keeping all these challenges in view, different departments, different ministries of Government of India launched various programs like Skill India, Digital India, Stand Up India. These kind of programs started by various departments. At the same time, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India launched this National Career Service Project in the year 2000 as a mission mode project. Okay. The main aim of this mission mode project, the National Career Service, is to bring youth closer to right opportunities at the right time in their career. That is the main objective. And this National Career Service Project brings together all stakeholders like job seekers, employers, career counselors, placement agencies, government departments, career centers, local service providers. So, this National Career Service Project bring together all these stakeholders at one particular platform to provide effective services to the needy persons like job seekers and unemployed youth. And if you see, public employment system in any country, public employment system is supposed to provide, various services like registration of candidates, right? Then vocational guidance services, career counseling services, then self-assessment tests, right? Psychometric tests and all. Then information about skill upgradation programs, skill development programs. Maybe it is soft skills or hard skills, technical skills. Then organizing job fairs or placements and all. So you see any country, as far as public employment system is concerned, these are the services provided by public employment system. So any student or any job seeker or any unemployed youth expect this kind of services from any public employment system. So all these services are available on our NCS project. This project is providing all these kind of services, right? As far as online services are concerned, in all these, just now I mentioned so many activities. So all these activities are being provided through National Career Service Portal, online services. As far as offline services or on-ground services are concerned, we have a huge network of employment exchanges, model career centers, national career centers for differently abled to provide services to the differently abled people, and national career service centers for SC/STs, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So through this network of organizations, we have been providing services to the people on ground level. Now. See, let us see one by one in what way these kind of services are being provided through our NCS. As far as registration is concerned, any candidate above 14 years can register with our NCS board. That is first thing as far as registration. Now, as far as vocational guidance services are concerned, see, if we think from the point of view of student, what kind of services they expect from Government of India or this kind of platforms. First of all, as a student or as a job seeker, they want to select some suitable career for themselves. That is first one. Second one, what are the platforms available and providing these kind of career opportunities. Third one is information about various career options. Right. Next one is information about various career schemes and information about self-employment and entrepreneurship. Right, and then information about skill upgradation programs. So these are the areas where job seekers or students want to know about details of all this. So as far as how to select a career is concerned, see, sometimes, if students are able to understand their capacities, interest areas, and their abilities and aptitudes and all other things, so they can select their interest, as per their interest area, they can select their careers. Sometimes if it is not possible to identify their interest areas, career opportunities as per their interest areas, then they can consult career counselors, psychologists, and they can go for this kind of psychometric tests or self-assessment tests. Based on the analysis and based on the guidance given by career counselors, they can select careers, right? So in that way, they can select careers because selection of career is very, very important. Because once a career is selected, throughout life they have to be in. They have to pursue careers, that particular career. And if they select proper career, then they can enjoy their entire life. Otherwise they find it very difficult to cope up with that particular career. So selection of career is very, very important. Second step: what are the platforms which are providing various career options? See, particularly in the present situation, pandemic situation. When students are confined to their houses, their movement is totally restricted. So instead of wasting their time, because they are not attending any colleges or schools, as per UNESCO's survey, I mean, all over world, 150 crore people, I mean, learners are not attending any educational institutions. They are confined to their houses. So instead of wasting time, if they pursue any career development programs, skill upgradation programs, then definitely that will be helpful for them to upgrade their, enhance their employability. So what are the platforms providing different kind of courses, online platforms? See, there are so many private platforms are there, government platforms are there. If you talk about private platforms, Coursera, Google, Udemy, EDX, these kind of platforms are there. As far as government is concerned, we have so many platforms like Swayam Prabha, NEET, National Educational Alliance Technology, then NPTEL, National Program for Technology Enhancement. So National Digital Library, EPG Patasala, I mean, Shraddha Ganga. So these are all online platforms where students, they can find out so much of information and they can pursue various courses. Next one is information about various occupations. See, whatever I'm mentioning, all these things are available on our NCS portal. If you go to NCS portal, in the homepage itself, we have information service. Information service is there. Under that information service, all this kind of information is available for the benefit of job seekers. Next one is information about various occupations. See, I mean, it is very difficult because we have so many occupations are available, n number of occupations are available. National classification of occupations, if you see 2008 version, and more than 3,000 occupations are available. So in our NCS portal, information about each and every occupation, that is more than 3,000 occupations information is available on our NCS portal under career information. So, I mean, all these occupations are available under 52 sectors. So for each sector, we have provided one video also. In that video, detailed information about that particular sector, occupations of that particular sector, I mean, educational requirement, etc. All these, I mean, entire information related to the 52 sectors are also available. Videos are also available. Next point is information about various schemes. Suppose any student wants to avail, I mean, because of financial constraint and all other things, any student wants to avail education loan or scholarship facility, meritorious students with financial background, if they want to avail scholarship facilities being offered by Government of India. So, I mean, what are the places where they can get this kind of information about education loans, scholarships, etc., etc. There are various platforms developed by Government of India, Ministry of HRD, Ministry of Electronics and Information. So many platforms are there. Like Vidya Lakshmi is the portal which is offering education loan for students. Similarly, National Scholarship Portal. National Scholarship Portal is there, developed by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, offering central schemes, state schemes, UGC schemes, scholarship schemes. So that information is also available. Similarly, Vidya Kaushal, one platform where students want to avail scholarship facilities to pursue in skill development program. So Vidya Kaushal is the portal. Similarly, Vidya Sarathi is the portal developed by Government of India, where corporates are offering various scholarship facilities. So like that, Vidya Sarathi, Vidya Kaushal, Vidya Lakshmi, National Scholarship Portal, and even students, if they want to avail apprenticeship programs. So Ministry of HRD's portal, that is National NATS, National Apprenticeship Training Scheme portal, is also available. So information about all these things are available on our NCS portal. I mean, links are available. Because these are all facilities provided by various other ministries. So we have provided links of all these facilities in our NCS portal. Next one, suppose if job seeker or unemployed you wanted to know about those who are interested in self-employment and entrepreneurship, so they can also, refer various information related to entrepreneurship related programs being offered in India, and special entrepreneurship schemes and entrepreneurship institutes which are offering entrepreneurship related training programs, and Pradhan Mantri Yuva Yojana, one scheme is there. I mean, the aim of that scheme is to provide entrepreneurship training to the youth in India. So, like that, there are so many, so much of information related to entrepreneurship and self-employment is also available. Even in our NCS portal, under Start Your Own Business, under that, we have provided entire information related to self-employment and entrepreneurship related schemes. So in this way, we can provide, we have been providing vocational guidance services to the job seekers, unemployed youth, and all. Next thing is, what kind of courses they have to select, right? We have seen what are the platforms where they can pursue this kind of courses. What are the schemes, etc., etc. What kind of job, occupational information is there. Now, what kind of courses they have to identify. So with the help of career counselors, they can identify courses. See, in the present situation, pandemic situation, even UGC also, cleared, a request of students. Simultaneously, students can pursue 2 different courses at a time, right? One course they can pursue on regular mode, another course they can pursue from offline mode, distance mode, etc. So keeping in view the present pandemic situation, what are the areas, what are the sectors, what are the job roles which are in demand? So if students, they can pursue these kind of courses, definitely that will helpful for them to move forward in their career. Say, for example, digital marketing. So under digital marketing, social media marketing, website planning, designing, these kind of areas, they can pursue courses. Similarly, if you talk about the students, those who are interested in designing and creative art, they can go for a graphic design. So there are so many software applications like Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, CorelDRAW. So these kind of courses they can pursue under this graphical design. Similarly, the students, because these are the areas which are very, very much in demand in the present scenario. The similar next one is financial planning, right? Financial planning is also one of the important areas. Getting a certificate from FPSB, right? Financial Planning Standards Board. If students are able to get the certificate from FPSB in the financial planning, definitely they are very much in demand. Similarly, simultaneously, in addition to this financial planning, they can go for insurance planning, investment planning, tax preparation, retirement planning. These are the areas where they can, pursue and they can improve their employability. Similarly, foreign languages is another area. Foreign languages. Those who are interested to pursue career in media, they can go for courses like voice modulation, right? These are the areas. Similarly, web designing, Java programming, mobile app development, game development, market analysis, entrepreneurship related courses. So these are the courses they can pursue at low level. As far as high level courses are concerned, they can go for artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, robotics. So these are the areas where they can pursue different courses. Next one is as far as soft skills are concerned. So developing skill, technical skills, etc. They can pursue these kind of courses and they can develop their technical skills and they can improve their employability. But nowadays, if you talk about corporates, corporates are looking for candidates, those who are technically sound and specialized in their particular subject, and also those who are having proper soft skills. So corporates are preferring those kind of candidates to enter into their organizations, right? So they select, if they select candidates based on their technical skills and specialized skills, if their soft skills are not up to the mark, they fire those candidates within no time. So therefore, soft skills are also very, very important. Keeping that in view, recently our NCS, in collaboration with corporates like TCS, we have been offering employability training programs, particularly in the development of this soft skills. NCS, in collaboration with TCS, we have been organizing 100 hours free of cost training program, particularly for graduates, fresh graduates, those who are from socially and economically weaker sections. All over India, even Tier 2 cities, Tier 3 cities, small towns also, we have been offering this kind of courses in collaboration with TCS for the benefit of students. And not only offering this course, after completion of the course, TCS conduct interviews. Successfully, students, those who complete this interview successfully, they even give employment opportunity in TCS itself, at entry level. So, not only that, recently NCS, in collaboration with the TCS ION, which is a partner of TCS. So, in collaboration with the TCS ION, we have been providing online career skill services also. I mean, 18 hours online digital career skill program, which is also offering a soft skill training program for students. Those who are registered with our NCS portal, it is free of cost for, I mean, all students. Yeah, sir.
I think, a lot of things are there, but others have also. So
Yeah. Just I'm finishing it within 1 minute. Sir.
Yeah, please,
so,
sir.
These online career skill programs also we have been offering. Similarly, I mean, we have been conducting job fairs. Manish sir already mentioned. We have been organizing job fairs all over India in our network of our employment exchanges, model career centers. They have been organizing job fairs. After lockdown, we have shifted from physical job fairs to online job fairs, digital job fairs. So right from April to till date, we have conducted more than 250 job fairs, and more than 3,000 candidates got placements in various industries and organizations. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry for taking much time.
No, sir, there's so much you are doing. So much you are doing. I feel always the time is short. But what we have is, others are also. Mr. Rajeev, right now, a lot of people are looking to speak out to Mr. Rajeev, sir.
Yeah.
So, Rajeev, sir, thank you very much for being there patiently. And thank you, Ashok, sir, for guiding us. Rajeev, sir, a lot of kids are looking to go abroad, okay, still in this pandemic, after the pandemic also. So, how are you going to make them, make them fly overseas is something which is very, very, everyone is keen to look at. So, over to you, sir. You are a star speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. KG sir, I'm sorry, do you want me to ask a specific question, or I can,
I think you can start with the flow, and at the end, definitely there'll be questions.
Okay. Of course, during this time, students are having a lot of questions in their mind, whether to go abroad or not go abroad. Obviously, currently, you have the visas not there, the countries are closed. But this is one area where, it is part of the students' planning, and which we believe by next year, by January, I think the border should open up. And in fact, we have recommended our students which have taken admission into this fall series to basically start online if you are undergraduate. And if you are a master's student, to defer your admission to January. But study abroad, in fact, one of the products we have in study abroad is called Vocations Abroad, which I think could be a very good fit to the students which are listening to you. Now, and I think the new NEP policy, vocations is being given very, very high importance. Now, vacations abroad are, so study abroad, we all know, okay, you want to go and do your master's or your doctorate, and you go to various countries, USA, Canada, and obviously as a company, we work with around 23 countries. We represent more than 1,000 universities across the world. But vocation is one where, unlike India as a mindset, abroad the mindset is very, very open. So we work in the areas in vocation, especially like hospitality, then paramedical. It's booming. Paramedical, like your nursing and your technicians and all those areas related. Then we work in IT, hardware, and networking. So that area, most of the students go for software, but here we are talking of networking and hardware related areas. Then we have students going for automobile, whether to work in automobile areas. So there are very niche areas where we also send students for vocations. So of course, one of the things which we feel is not happening right the way current study abroad is happening, we call it just matchmaking. So students are actually going to a college or a university below their potential. And the reason for this is that, unlike India, when you have to go abroad, you have to prepare a lot. The preparation can go minimum 6 months, ideally 2 years. We in fact ask our students to start preparing 2 years before, because the criteria when our universities look at are much more. In India, there एक या दो criteria hota, 1, 2, 3 areas. But in if you go abroad, anywhere from 9 to 13 areas, they look into you as a candidature if they have to give you admission to you. So preparing, your career is a more important thing, what I feel. Now, further thing you do in India, you do abroad, that's a choice you want to make, right? But preparing for your career is a very, very important thing, which we feel, and you have to give time to that. So that's to start with, and I can answer any questions now, KG sir, you have for me, and anything specific, because I'm not sure what the students want to listen to me.
Well said, Rajiv. I think there's one girl who's asked Sunita, who's asked a question. She has done her course in food technology, and she wants to know what are the benefits, what are the opportunities available in that sector.
So can you repeat what she's done?
Food, on the food technology front.
Food, oh.
MSc
Okay.
Food Technology.
Yeah. So it's a specific question, but I'll answer that. Apart from that, there are two, three questions which I'll answer quickly. The food technologies outside, especially in, if I want to recommend, is Europe. If you go to Europe, I think there are a lot of, master courses which are there. The work you get out of it there. For example, Netherlands related area, if you do anything related to in food, especially dairy foods, the best areas you can actually get into. Right? So it depending on what you want to do, specialize in food technology, we can recommend you further. So, to give you an example, the question I like to answer, the first question, how would you like, the students college students should equip themselves to be ready? And only 3 points I like to add here. First, you have to look at a career which is employable. So employable career has to be a target. How to find out whether it's your employable career or no? And I'm a very strong believer of an area or a technology called Ikigai. I don't know how many of the students have heard this word called Ikigai. Now, Ikigai means that if you to do a higher studies, it's a combination of 4 things which you should find out. What is the first thing? First thing, what are you passionate about? Second, what are your skills? Aapko kya aapke skills hai? Third, what you'll get paid for? And fourth, what is the world looking at? These 4 circles, a combination of this is your personal Ikigai. Now, obviously there are techniques. So we as a company have a technique through which we do a brain mapping and we find your Ikigai, saying that, hey, this is the area you should go into. So which is your career goal? And based on the career goal, then you should build up your skills around it, or we call building up a CV. To give an example, let's say your career goals comes in that you need to get into, let's say, technology. But technology what? In fact, I was taking a session last week in the space of technology in space of masters. There are 341 specialization. I'm repeating this to you. 341 specialization only in the space. If you are a BCA or a computer science engineer, you can specialize in 341 areas abroad. So there are a lot of specialization. So we divide them into various areas. So you have to find your Ikigai, and in that Ikigai, you go forward, because higher education means what? You have to be employable, right? And you should have an employable career. So whichever area you find your Ikigai, I think just go in the net and you'll find a lot of things on Ikigai. In that area, you learn yourself. Sir.
Very well said, Rajiv. I think I'll ask you one last question.
Yeah.
There are people here who want to get to become an entrepreneur. So do you think just remaining focused on getting jobs in organizations is the only way out, or the other opportunities too to run after?
So my answer to this may be slightly, not in line with what you usually think. First, entrepreneur is a role. What is important for everybody to learn, irrespective of what you do, is a word called entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is an attitude, right? Whatever you do in your life, this is the attitude you are supposed to learn. So people mistake entrepreneurship and entrepreneur. They are 2 very different, distinct things. Now, entrepreneurship is an attitude and you need to gather skills. Now, what is the attitude of an entrepreneur? What you need to learn is called resilient. There's only single thing entrepreneurship attitude teaches you to be resilient. The resilient is, aap niche gir gaye to kaise aap ut sakte hain. So that's an attitude which you need to learn. How this can be enhanced, according to me, it can be enhanced by 4 groups which help you. First, yourself. आपको खुद को अपना goal set up करने हैं, and you keep on increasing your entrepreneurship, as an attitude. Second, your parents. Your parents are the one which are your first customer, which is your biggest critics, they are your biggest fan. So Take along your parents. The third is your teachers and mentors. You need to have teachers and mentors because they are the ones which will keep on helping you increase your attitude. And the fourth thing is your friends. Your friends are the one who are your reference. I will add last point to this, the skill point of entrepreneurship. There are, according to me, 5 skills anybody as an attitude of entrepreneurship should learn. And as an entrepreneur too. What are those? First, communication skills. You have to have excellent communication skills. You have to talk to, sell your product, sell to your investor, sell to your service, sell to your team. So communication has to be very excellent. Second, learning skill. You should be a learner because who teaches you? I can give you my example. Wherever I get stuck up in my business, there are 2 people who teach me. First are my customers. I just go out in the field, talk to them, I learn. I get my solution to the problem. Second are numbers. So these are my particular to me. So when I see numbers, they dance in front of me and I get solutions. So, but what I'm trying to say, learning is the second biggest skill you have to learn. Third, focus, right? You have to learn how to focus. Now use any technique, use meditation, use whatever you want to, learn from anybody, but you have to have a very razor-sharp focus. The fifth thing, you should gather the skill of doing research. Research what is happening in the market, research from primary, secondary, problems, solutions, how you can find. So research is a skill you need to have. And the last is money management or cash management. According to me, these are the 5 skills anybody as an entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial skill you need to have. If you don't have rest, everything is residual to this. That's my take on this topic.
I think that's fantastic, Rajiv. I think that is exactly what our students want to hear. They want to know the path to success and not the path alone. They want to know the entire end-to-end game, how they want to do. Thanks a lot. Very, very enlightening talk. Now I'll request Sandhya, Dr. Sandhya to come in.
Thank you.
Seema, Dr. Seema.
Thanks a lot. Dr. Seema to come in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Dr. Seema, now the floor is up to you. I think students
yes, and I'll quickly kind of wrap it up because, the very interesting points has been already covered and I'm very happy that I'm part of this. And what Mr. Ashok Kumar has mentioned about, what are the opportunities available the government platform has and what are the skills are needed and specifically Mr. Rajiv Sharma who has mentioned that how students can go abroad and what are the needs and requirements can be fulfilled. Now my take in this conversation is basically about a common man, a family who might not be able to kind of fulfill the desire of those students that they can afford to go abroad, but of course they can do good here in India as well. I don't want to kind of make them feel bad or sad that why didn't we kind of plan or something. But of course, and that is what, Atmanirbhar Bharat and Atmanirbhar student mean here. We mean. So on that note, I'll just try to kind of pinpoint the issues what we have in India. Most of the time, the problem is young India is most of the time busy into doing preparations for different kind of examinations and doing higher studies. And that is where the difference between developed and developing economies. Because if developed economy like Europe and America, if I'm talking about, their young population is busy into doing economical works and they are kind of contributing to the country and society. But unfortunately in India, young population is kind of burden on the country and as well as the family as well. So that kind of need to be kind of taken away. And that can only happen when, and here I must mention that academia is the weakest link in India. And of course, I also belong from that fraternity. But it is sad to say that there a kind of, a huge thing need to be done. Of course, national, education policy is there, brilliant, and it's like amazing. But the thing is that how states are going to implement will be the key. And how academic institutions are going to take it will be the key. Let's see what is going to happen. But let me tell you that there is a huge disconnect among what kind of education we are giving to our students and what kind of jobs are available in the market. That has been kind of, several times got studied and proven and reported throughout in media. We all are knowing, but the point is that what is the nature of jobs which has changed and what are the nature of jobs which are available right now? Let me tell you, IT is one of them, of course, artificial intelligence, and lot of things are there with respect to IT sector. But let me tell you, there are other areas as well, like sustainable, sustainability is there. Like, let's say environment is there. Like, let's say neighborhood level pay, there are waste management issues are there. There are the jobs are there. You have to think of jobs which are there at your neighborhood. If you want to, you are looking for cleaning air, and you don't have to go here and there. You have to just figure out a plan and work accordingly. You can start your own entrepreneurship, but this kind of thing can only happen when the academic institutions and the schools and colleges where students are getting study and education, they are actually aligned with life projects, and what students need to learn and how they can understand and implement their understanding in real time scenarios. I mean, then the students will be able to come up with a real time idea that what kind of entrepreneurship and kind of a startup he can or she can look for. So these are the gaps. Let me tell you, these are separate issues, and it will take, I don't want to get into the intricacies, but these are the gist which I like to put forward, and this is food for thought for the participants, that what they kind of need to understand is that there is a need of change in the perception of looking what jobs are meaning. Job doesn't mean only preparing for civil services, preparing for IIM, IIT, or preparing for the one or two sections, government jobs only, or jobs like doctor, engineer. You will have to start thinking job as a job which is available at the local level, at the the neighborhood level. So that's how it goes. Thank you very much. I would like to give this the rest of the time for the questions, if there is anything. Yeah, thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Seema. I think Seema, you can put on your video so we can see you as you answer the questions. So I think that the questions are for everybody. In fact, Dr. Ashok Kumar, Dr. Rajiv, and Dr. Seema, I think the one question that has come up is that those above the age of 35, this is not necessarily a student, but there's also a problem happening in the economy that someone has asked a question that those who are above 35 and they lose a job, how would you encourage them from the government side? What are the opportunities available for that kind of an age group? I think Mr. Ashok Kumar can actually answer this.
Yeah. Students above 35 years age, nowadays in government, age is around 28 years, 30 years. Even say Group A post, even 35 years age is also, limitation is there. So suppose, beyond 35 years, recently we have recruited, under our National Career Service project, we have recruited young professionals. The maximum age limit is 40 years. So and they can work with our project for 5 years. So some of the young professionals, those who are above 35 years, and even at the time of their joining, they were at the age of 35 years. So they have completed 5 years. Now they have to move out of that.
So, KG sir, can I add quickly
yes,
to this?
Please, Mr. Rajiv.
Okay, see, over age of 35, there are two options, and both you according to me should do. First, you have to reskill yourself, right? And second, see, India and COVID has shown us that India is fast moving towards a gig economy, right? A gig economy is people working from home, people who are specialists, people who have specific skill. They can work part-time, full-time, work from home. All those options are there. So India is fast moving to a gig economy. So gather a new skill. And the most favorite skill now everybody is gathering is in the space of digital space, right? So, so you have to reskill. If you have lost a job, it means the skill is not in requirement today, right? In fact, every time there is a recession in the world, two things really work well. First, people become steady, and second, they become entrepreneurs, right? So this, you see the world average, this is what people do. So that's what I feel should be the right way.
Thanks, Rajiv. That was interesting from the perspective of about 35, and the answer can go anywhere between 35 to 65. So I think there's no age for retirement today in the world of livelihood.
Yeah.
Having said that, there's somebody from the hinterland of India who wants to ask another question. I think Munish, though he's not a speaker, but he should address the issue of the gig economy jobs, like Uber driver jobs. Somebody has asked that, what about a motor mechanic? How do I get a motor mechanic job? So that job is the easiest for me to learn. I've skilled myself. How do I get a job there?
I think,
Dr. Seema, you want to
Dr.
pick up?
Seema, you want to answer this? Or should I? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes,
I love it. Yes.
Who is going to answer?
Dr. Seema, yourself.
Oh, okay. So the question I've heard is that what about the mechanic and what kind of job he will get?
Yeah.
Yes, motor mechanics, correct.
Yeah, so that is where the skilling comes in. I mean, that is where the education setup in India comes in. And I'm very sorry to say again that, the skilling need to be there from the school level. The new education policy, I'm looking forward for it. That is, let's talk about the European model, the skilling, like, each and every student has to kind of opt a specific kind of skill in their school time itself. Like one of my friends, she's professor and she is also a very good carpenter. She is German. And when she came to my place, she made that place a very perfect by doing everything herself. And then she mentioned that I am a carpenter as well, because I learned that skill in my school. And if she didn't go for, higher studies, she could have become a carpenter. She can choose that, that is where the difference is. And that is what I was trying to mention, that the skilling is about, it's not about a specific job. Somebody has become IAS and let's celebrate them. And someone is carpenter and let's not celebrate them. No, it's not like that. It's about your choice, your options, and you should feel proud and live it in it. Because whatever you are doing is you are contributing, you are doing very important job. So, so we were kind of thinking that, if schools have this kind of skillings, colleges certification program can happen for such set of people who can get certified. You see, you think about your, call any carpenter, they don't know actually how to do their job properly because they are not well, trained. They do, whatever the basic, they have basic skills, until and unless you are getting, your job done via some big contractor paying huge amount. So skilling is something which can, solve this problem, and certification can be done for such set of people, including the maids in India who work at your place.
No, I'll add
certification program.
Dr. Mohan, I'll just add to what Dr. Seema just now told. I am in the service where I am actually, Jeevitam is giving a lot of work to the gig economy workers, So today, if I am a delivery boy, I connect with Zomato or Delivery or Swiggy or, Uber, and I start earning money. Same way for a motor mechanic, there are a lot of platforms which have come in who say you join us and we will offer you work opportunities. Your job is only execution. Okay. The way the gig works is that getting business is the responsibility of the platform. So there are platforms there who will find work which is motor mechanic work. Your job is to go there and fulfill that work which they have sourced for you. And you are monitored on the feedback and the rating a customer gives you while you do the work. And if you do the work well, you keep getting work from these platforms and you don't have to look for work. You have to only do the work, kind of work you want. Okay. So that is the model which is now emerging in the new economy, which is I'm saying this COVID has basically opened up an opportunity for everyone to go digital. You go for a smartphone, look for these platforms, download their app, and you start getting work, So that's a way, is also one of the ways to look forward for work.
This can be done, but skilling is the basic thing. If they will not do how to deliver properly, and that's where Mr. Ashok Kumar can do something and think about that certification program can be done for all these set of people. Government can think of, and that is like improving the quality of life of everyone, including the mechanic and including the service provider and who is taking the service.
And when it comes to
we should value.
when it
Yeah.
comes to acquiring new skill sets, like Dr. Rajiv said, this is the age that one should really acquire new skill sets. But we generally forget the contribution of the learning foreign languages. Even carpenter can go abroad. Generally, what is the notion? Only the degree holders, the diploma holders only can go abroad. No, even the carpenter can go, provided they know some foreign language. And I understand that to make every student employable in this country, at least one foreign language one should learn. Your take.
I will just add to this, sir. Especially this specific area, we send students to especially Malaysia they call them automobile engineers, by the way, because there we don't have the roadside garages. They are proper, so they do it's a 2-year course, sir. Out of 2 years course, 6 months is what they officially learn in a college. Rest 1.5 years is a paid internship. They actually work in a garage. After that, as Seema said, they get certification, right? And they get employed. And the salary that these guys draw is in the range of ₹1,00,000, Indian rupees, ₹1,00,000 a month. So this is, and they call them automobile engineers, right? So, for example, for KG Mohan sir, to add to this, if you go to Maruti and all those things, they take kids which are ITI kids from automobile, train them, right, and put their own service center. So currently, that training job currently is doing by the industry. What Seema man is talking of, industry को जरूरत है तो industry skill करती है और फिर ले लेती है, right? And
I think absolutely right. The person who asked about the motor mechanic job must have already joined a course on Malaysian language and must have been heading for get the visa for himself.
Yeah.
My point is it should be in India, Atmanirbhar, make it India, Atmanirbhar.
I'm with you, ma'am.
Department should do something. Make it Atmanirbhar.
If you will want to make them Atmanirbhar, Manish, the other day we were
That's why I give you a second example of,
can play a very important role in it. I am there to help you out.
Great.
Right.
One more interesting question has come up. Now, as you're watching the GDP falling, two things are happening. The GDP is falling, the stock market is going up. So somebody wants to know, if I want to be in the stock market, what kind of skills do I need? Does anyone want to answer that?
Okay, I can, sir, because I'm ex-stock market, so if you allow me.
Okay, great.
And obviously, Munish sir, he's the right person. See, if you have to enter a stock market, the skills are not very, very simple. If you were to just start like a small operator, what you need to understand is read those, have a good computer knowledge because you are working on a software, point number one. Point number two, I'm talking about the lowest end. Point number two, you should be able to understand the research reports or the instructions which are coming. So you should know the different, what is the features and options and what is company and what is PAT and what is PBT. And so these basic commerce knowledge, and according to me, it is not, in fact, there are a lot of free courses currently running. If you try to go to any of these stock market companies, if you enter as an investor, they will teach you how to invest. And in that, they will teach you all of those basic skills. So only two things, good computer skills, right? And second, how to read these reports and talk to your customer. So communication skill is a common skill in whatever you do. So now whether you want to become a driver or you want to become an automobile engineer or you want to become a stock market, get into it. But this is the lowest job which I'm talking of.
I think I've been a banker for years, so I'll add to what Rajesh sir said. One of the things why one of the stock market is also going is people are at home and they do not have any work, so they start investing, and they may start making money.
They're saving as well.
But one of
have become traders also.
Yeah, one of the things, which I suggest is, instead of using your real money and learning and losing money, probably of losing money is high. There are platforms now, which I know, who teach you investing in stock markets by using virtual money. This is only a money, suppose you have 100,000 rupees in your account and you are given an option to invest where you will invest. And then you look into, how you have performed in the next one week or 1 month. And then you really know that you have lost that 1 lakh which you invested, which was not a real money. It was a virtual money. Am I right? And then you understand whether you in for it or not. If you make money, you are in the right field. You have learned it well and you understand, as Rajesh sir, you understand the reports, you understand the digital side, and you are able to make all that. So these are the, you should practice before you actually start going into the market with real money. That's my recommendation to you.
I think, Manish, I think the art of making money is always there. The answers today has been a spectrum of answers starting from livelihood to going to Malaysia to learning foreign languages to becoming a good carpenter. And I think Mr. Ashok Kumar has given us a grand view of what kind of job opportunities are available in the government. And people above 35 need not get worried till 40 some jobs with upper limits. So I think the more people interact and get the benefit of these question answers in this forum, the faster they will learn how to get jobs or livelihood. But I think the overarching message that Mr. Rajiv gave us is very important. The 5 skills is not necessarily for entrepreneurs. For anybody who runs for livelihood, having the ability of resilience, ability to learn, ability to focus, ability to research, and how to manage money, these 5 need to be on their fingertips, the 5 fingers of theirs, if they want to earn a living and live happily. So I think great thoughts, great inputs, and great ideas from our speakers today. I think let's hope the students really benefit from these kind of interactions from the industry that we have. And Sanjeev, please keep on emphasizing on foreign language to be learned, and especially the Asian economy of arts, because our geographical success is going to happen when the Asian tiger, the tiger that we are, we keep on talking about China. I think beyond China, there are other people in Asian geography who can really help us, like Japan and Korea they're working on. So I think thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you very, very much.
Mohan
Yes,
sir,
sir.
just because of internet interruption, in between, just not able to continue my answer to your question. Just I wanted to I take 2 minutes to answer that question. So as far as this education, age 40 years age bar is concerned. See, suppose if we consider total youngsters into 2 categories. Qualified jobs youngsters and in low qualification youngsters with low qualifications. See, as far as qualified persons are there, even if 40, nowadays there is no difference between government jobs and private jobs. See, because even in government also, pension policies and all other things totally, total changes are there. So, and as far as security is concerned, if the person is a talented one, so there is no problem. Even in private sector, a lot of security is also there. So coming to, see, there are some sectors like education sector, IT sector, recruitment sector, internet sector, e-commerce sector, and advertising sector, insurance sector. So where a lot of employment opportunities are there for persons with good qualifications. So, even after 40 years, they can enter into any of these areas with proper qualification. Coming to the second set of job seekers, youngsters without qualification. See, there are some organizations like Root City, for example, Rural Development and Self-Employment Training Institute. So all over India, around 25 institutions are there, which are offering excellent training programs for youngsters, persons without any qualification, right? So they provide excellent skill upgradation programs, like maybe motorcycle mechanic, DTP, beautician. These kind of courses they are offering free of cost. There is no need to pay any amount also. Free of cost they are offering all these courses. So, and also they are, these Root City people, after giving training program, 2 years they will be with candidate to help that candidate to establish his own self-employment setup and all other things. So 2 years they will follow the candidate, and they try to, they want to see that particular candidate has to establish his own establishment. So in that way, if willingness is there, so whether they are educated, qualified, highly qualified, non-qualified, so they can pursue these kind of skill development programs, and they can, take up any kind of courses, or they can start their self-employed venture, and they become. And one more message I wanted to give for students, particularly, to cope up with this 21st century competition, students, they have to develop 21st century skills. So what are those 21st century skills? See, we can divide 21st century skills into 3 categories. What are those 3? Learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills, right? So what are those learning skills? Learning skills, we can mention learning skills into 4 C's. So what are those 4 C's? creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaborative approach. So these 4 C's are very, very important as far as learning skills are concerned, right? Coming to the literacy skills, IMT are very, very important. What are those IMT? Information literacy skills, digital literacy skills, and technology literacy skills. So as far as literacy skills are concerned, these three IMTs are very, very important, because nowadays everywhere information, a lot of information is available. We don't know what kind of information is useful and what kind of information is not useful, correct, which is not correct. It is very difficult. So having proper information literacy is very important. Similarly, media literacy and technology literacy. The last one is life skills. See, we can divide life skills into flips, FLIPS. What are those flips? F is flexibility. See, to cope up with this competitive environment, students, they should have this kind of life skills. What are those life skills? F is flips, out of flips. F is flexibility is very, very important. See, whenever situation arises, they should be in a position to switch over to the change scenario. So that kind of flexibility is very much required. Then L is leadership qualities. See, olden days, everybody used to think somebody will come, somebody will guide us, somebody will help us, then only we'll take up the things. So that kind of things are not useful in the present scenario. So leadership skills are very, very important. Then I is initiativeness. Initiativeness is also very, very important. So you have to take initiative. Then P means productivity. If you initiate something and there is no productivity, that is also useless. So productivity is also very, very important. And last one is S is social. So you have to be very social, right? So all these flips, flexibility, leadership, initiativeness, and productivity and social, all these kind of qualities are also very much required as far as these 21st century life skills are concerned. And finally, if any student or any job seeker, if they want to succeed in their life, finally, just I wanted to take one more minute, sorry. 5 C's are very, very important. What are those 5 C's? First of all, commitment. Commitment towards any given assignment. Maybe it is job, maybe it is employment, maybe it is studies, or whatever it may be. Commitment is very much required. Another next C is clarity. So if you are a committed person, then you should you have to have clarity. Whatever assignment given to us, first of all, we should understand what is this assignment. So clear, vision into that particular assignment is very much required. So commitment, clarity is very much required. Third one is confidence. If you are a committed person and you are clear with the things, then your confidence levels automatically improve. Like anything. So if you are a committed person having clarity on the assignments and you are a confident person, then there will not be any confusion. There will not be any confusion. So job seeker, friends, those who are attending this session, so all these 4 C's are very much important to achieve any kind of target, goal. But I mentioned about 5 C's. If all these 4 C's are available, definitely you can achieve any goal. But 5th C, which is very, very important, even though you are able to achieve your goal with these 4 C's, but 5th C is very, very important. That is character. Character is very, very important. Even though you are a successful person with all these 4s and you are able to achieve whatever you want to achieve in your life, but without character, those achievements are nothing. So if you are a very successful person with good character, then you will be a great person. Right. So that's all I wanted to mention. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving me more time.
I think Ashok Kumar is not more time. Time is value, and you have brought extensive value to this kind of discussions we had today. Yeah. I think Dr. Seema, yourself, Dr. Rajiv, I think thanks a lot for time spent. Thanks for understanding the needs of our students. The journey is not going to be easy. We are in the midst of a pandemic, but as I keep saying, with the 5 billion years of history of this planet, 1 year of pandemic is just a small blip. I think we have 5 billion more years to go. And with the kind of gurus in the field like you, students will learn. Objective of the webinar series is twofold. One, anyone who comes to this webinar has a path to get a job or livelihood somewhere. And number two, they will learn how to reskill themselves, reimagine themselves, reinvent themselves, and reposition themselves in the marketplace for a livelihood. So thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot for the webinar, and hope to see you again next week, a different day this time, next Friday at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Sure.